So, good morning, ma'am, and good morning to everyone. So, the topic that I'm going to discuss this morning is all about the Chapter 3, Lesson 5, Importance of Consumer Education. So, my name is Bautista Hazel Santillan, your reporter for today. So, before we proceed in explaining the next slide, let us first define and discuss what is consumer education and why is it important based on my research. So, may isasend po akong source. Doon ko po kinuha yung aking sasabihin ngayon. So, what is consumer education? Consumer education, this is the right that protects the consumer from large companies that sell products and services. So, according to the Consumer Right Bill that was established during President John F. Kennedy term, consumer have the right to know more about the products that they purchase. So, in addition, consumer have the rights to be protected from the malicious acts. Consumer education provides resources and information that inform the customer of such things as price and trade practices. So, consumer education involves three parts. Yun po yun, consumer, the business, and the government. Consumer education is pivotal within the buying society. So, consumers are informed on how to make better buying decisions that directly affect the functioning of the economy. So, consumer education has become more relevant due to the rapid growth of product in the market. So, consumers need to stay informed on the effect of the economy in order to make best decisions. So, it was important that consumers were educated and given information by the government, media, and businesses. So, napaka-importante na tayo mga consumer, meron tayong kaalaman patungkol sa mga produkto na ating binibili. So, consumer needed to know what businesses were doing in order to determine how to invest their money, and they also needed to know where to look for employment. Sa pamamagitan ng consumer education, malalaman nating mga consumer kung para saan ba yung mga produkto na yon, or ano ba yung mga trabaho na pwede natin makuha from the business na yon. So, things such as monthly, quarterly financial reports from corporation were important so that consumers were given a realistic view of company performance. So, the consumer is ito po yung person or entity na kung saan sila yung bumibili, nag-a-attain, or nag-i-invest sa isang product or sa services. So, consumer education refers to the process of buyer learning about the product or services she is considering to attain. So, learning can be as quick as reading a label or as in-depth as taking course in a subject such as personal finance. So, consumer education is the answer to the common phrase found in the business world, buyer beware. So, okay, let's proceed on the discussion based on our module. So, according dito sa ating module, so, napaka-importante ng consumer education because first, it helps the consumer in many ways in protecting himself from the malpractices of the seller and making judicious purchases. So, lalo na sa panahon ngayon na napakarami ng manluloko o mapanlamang. So, sa pamamagitan ng consumer education, magkakaroon ng sapat na kaalaman ang bawat consumer sa mga produkto na ino-offer sa mga pamilihan. So, pangalawa, help a person in making a proper purchase and enables the consumer in making right selections. So, this is one of the advantages of consumer education. It helps the consumer to have an awareness and enough knowledge in the product that she is planning to purchase. Consumer education help every customer to be wise by making right selection of product that will satisfy them. Next is, it also familiarizes the consumer with the problems which he faces while making purchases, and this education inculcates the logical viewpoint in him. Also, it will provides the consumer full information of marketing condition like various sources of purchasing a particular commodity, from where to get cheap and best goods, the shops providing additional facilities and to latest product. So, magkakaroon ng enough knowledge ang mga consumer kung ano nga ba sa mga produktong magkakapareho. Halimbawa, sa mga gatas, ano yung pinakamura at pinakamahal base sa sa quality na meron ito na lubos ding makakatulong or kinikonsider ng ating mga mamimili para makapagdesisyon. So, one of the advantages of consumer education is to familiarizes the consumer with the various standards of standardization and their marking. So, ang bawat product sa ating sa mga market ay may iba't ibang level din yan ng pagdating sa pamilihan. So, ang lahat ng produkto bago ipasa ay dadaan muna sa matinding pagsusuri upang masiguro na papasok ito sa standard ng mga mamimili. So, yung standardization mark, ibig sabihin ay yung quality or kwalidad ng isang produkto or serbisyo. So, sa pamamagitan din ito, mabilis na makakapamili or makakapagdesisyon ang mga consumer kung ano nga ba yung produkto or serbisyo na kanilang bibilhin or i-acquire. So, next is familiarizes the consumer about the various acts enacted by the government from time to time. So, consumer education helps the consumer in getting maximum satisfaction by proper utilization of his money and leads a better living standard. It's government responsibilities to inform a consumer if there is a new law enacted about buying and selling of goods that can meet our satisfaction as customers. Of course, we know na government do their best in managing the goods and services offered sa ating mga pamilihan and to ensure its quality that will make us satisfied that we are spending our money with the goods and services with the quality, that those goods and services are safe to use. So, yun po yung reason bakit nagkakaroon ng mga law na or acts na sinasagawa or pinapasa ng ating government. So, next is consumer education ensures that company are held accountable by governing agencies and consumers that use their products and services. This is to ensure that if something is happen or if there is a problem, for example, from the product that the consumer buy from the market, consumer education ensure to us in consumer that the companies na may pagmamay-ari ng produkto na yon will be held accountable or mananagot or sasagot sa anumang mga gastusin. So, halimbawa na lamang sa company ng Jollibee. Hindi lingid sa ating kaalaman na nagkaroon ng issue doon patungkol sa ino-offer nilang isa sa mga pagkain, yung chicken, 'di ba? Na in-order, pero pagdating sa customer, hindi siya karne ng manok, kundi towel. So, this is one of the advantages. A government enacted a law to protect the consumer rights over sa ganong mga situation. So, next slide. Consumer education keeps the economy moving. So, consumer education is a significant factor in keeping the economy moving, as it holds companies accountable for what they sell and how they sell it. It gives consumers control over their purchases. It motivates the consumer to provide feedback that can be used to improve the quality of product and services. Of course, if there is a healthy relationship between the seller and the customer, magkakaroon or maiinganyo ang bawat customer to give positive feedback about sa kanilang product or serbisyo. Sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng feedback, positive man or negative, it is still helpful para malaman ng mga kumpanya kung paano pa nila i-improve yung kanilang mga produkto or serbisyo. Next is the multiple methods of informing consumers. So, companies determine how to educate their consumers by taking into account their industry, the product or services they sell, and their target demographic. Consumers can receive education through television and radio commercials, print, web advertising placements, and through direct mail marketing. So, those advertisement that we read from magazines, pati na sa mga dyaryo, as well as sa mga TV commercial about sa mga product, sa mga billboard, sa mga napapakinggan nating mga radio, 'di ba? Na may mga pinopromote sila mga produkto at serbisyo, of course sa mga social media platforms such as Facebook. 'Di ba napakaraming naglalabasan ng mga advertisement? In that way, nagkakaroon ng idea ang mga consumer kung ano-ano nga ba yung mga produkto na bago sa market ngayon. So, sa napakaraming method to inform the consumer about sa mga produkto at napaka-importante na maintindihan at lubos na maunawaan ito upang maging mabenta or mabili sa market yung ating mga produkto or serbisyo, dahil yun yung layunin ng advertisement, to have an impact sa mga customer. That's why they use famous people such as yung mga famous na artist sa kasalukuyan ngayon para mag-endorse ng kanilang mga produkto para tumaas yung percentage ng profit nila sa merkado. Okay, we will proceed to the next slide. The benefits to consumers. So, consumers are presented with a wide variety of options when they shop for products and services. Each options offers consumers a different price, level of quality, and set of features and benefits. Napakaraming benefits, diba, being a consumer. One of these is we have the rights to choose freely without a law enforce us or mandate us what we should buy. We have the benefits to decide when it comes sa price and quality ng produkto or serbisyo na gusto natin. So, consumers can avoid the problems associated with the lack of consumer awareness, as they can personally dissect the information about the product or service to make a wise buying decision after exploring options in making accurate product comparison. So, next is yung effects on companies. So, sorry po sa typographical error. So, consumer education po yan. So, consumer education forces companies to be honest about what they are offering, price their product and services fairly, and pay close attention to the needs and wants of their customers. Here in consumer education, pinaliliwanag or part ng ating rights na dinggin yung ating mga hinaing or reaction base sa ating karanasan sa paggamit ng product as well as sa mga services ng mga businesses. So, consumer education ensure to us that we are protected, na hindi tayo naaabuso. For example, sa presyo ng mga bilihin, consumer education ensure the fairness between the consumer and the seller. So, kung tama ba yung presyo na itinatakda sa isang produkto or serbisyo, companies keep the consumer in mind from the research and development phase to when they begin to market the product, then solicit consumer feedback. It also helps companies avoid legal issues that can arise from lack of consumer protection because customers will have the details in using products and services safely. Okay, for the next slide is the employee training education. Okay, employee training education. An important aspect of consumer education is to employee training and education. An informed employee is more equipped to answer customer questions successfully and accurately. As a result, he is able to build trusting relationship with customers as he assists them in buying process. That's why companies invest in employee training to ensure the customer service is held at high standard. Consumers have access to employees while shopping in a store through phone and email communication, in social networks, and through live chat hosted on company website. So, napakahalaga ng magandang relationship sa pagitan ng employee at saka ng isang consumers. Next is yung consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is the study of individuals, group or organization in all the activities associated with the purchase, use, and disposal of goods and services, including the consumer's emotional, mental, and behavioral responses that precede or follow these activities. So, consumer behavior emerged in 1940s and 50s as a distinct subdiscipline in the marketing area. So, this is the study how the consumer react about the product. Is the product and services satisfy them? Or if not, anong pagbabago or innovation ang gagawin para ma-meet ang expectation or masatisfied yung mga consumer? So the consumer behavior will be based on how they are going to react about their experience about the product and services. It's really important para maiwasan yung mga reklamo or as well as sa pagkalugi ng kumpanya dahil nawala ng tiwala yung mga consumer. Next is yung Consumer Relationship Management or yung CRM, or ito yung databases have become an asset for the analysis of consumer behavior. According to sa research ko po, yung Salesforce.com, Consumer Relationship Management, or ito yung definition niya, is a technology for managing all company relationship and interaction with customers and potential customers. The goal is simple, that is to improve business relationship. The CRM system helps companies stay connected to consumers, streamline processes, and improve profitability. So, one of its example ay yung mga marketing automation. So, ito yung once na bumili ka or nag-acquire ka sa isang online business, they are going to send you or you will receive thank you from them. For example, from visiting their website or from purchasing from them. So, another example, yung sending discount to customer that hasn't made a purchase recently. Next is yung consumer negative behavior. Consumer behavior is defined as the activities of people engaged in actual or potential use of market items, whether products, services, or retail environments of ideas. This is according to Berkman and Gilson, year 1981. So, when we say abusive customer, work in a clothing store has given me the opportunity to experience the stress created dealing with the so-called abusive customer. This negative behavior creates a conflict between customer satisfaction and employee satisfaction. So, this is one of the possible happen when the product or services of the business doesn't satisfy the expectation of the customer. That's why may tinatawag na abusive customer. In online selling, this is actually happening. May mga instances na mumura or nakakapagbibitaw ng mga masasamang words sa comment box ng mga online store dahil sa hindi na-meet yung expectation nila. Ika nga ng iba, maraming nadadali or nakakaranas na expectation versus reality. Kaya nagkakaroon ng abusive customer kung saan naglalabas ng soloobin yung mga customer dahil sa services or product na nabili niya. Another example, yung sa mga restaurant. So, minsan nagkakaroon ng pagtatalo between the customer at sa isang empleyado. So, napaka-importante na maayos yung pagmamanage ng isang manager para maiwasan na magkaroon ng gulo or problema sa minamanage ng business. Sabi nga, laging sundin yung golden rule na customer is always right. Dahil sa industriya ng negosyo, ang number one goal is to satisfy the customer. The last one is the peer influence. So, the behavior of the people around us impacts our own behavior. So, kadalasan din, ito yung tunay na nangyayari sa mga social media. We seek for review about other people's opinions and expectations or experience about the product. Kaya, if nakita natin na puro negative yung mga review, naapektuhan na or nai-influence na yung paggawa or pagkakaroon natin or pagdi-decide natin. So, that's why peer influence have a big impact sa customer behavior. Kapag positive ang naririnig natin, we trust a business. But if negative, of course, we never also trust them. That's all of my report po, ma'am. Thank you.